Hi, my name is Melinda from Portside Fitness and Nutrition, and I'm so excited you are here to discuss three things that are slowing your progress in the gym and one thing you can do to overcome them. Make sure that you downloaded the workbook before we get started because there's a little bit of exercise for you to do before we get started. Our nutrition program is powered by Healthy Steps Nutrition. At Healthy Steps Nutrition, they believe something as fundamental as nutrition shouldn't be complicated, and we couldn't agree more. Do you ever feel like you're not making progress in the gym? We have all been there. A month or so has gone by, and we feel like we're not gaining any ground or seeing any improvements. Today, we are going to talk about why this may be happening and what you can do to improve so you don't find yourself feeling stagnant again. Before we start, let's take a moment to do a self assessment, keeping the holistic aspects in mind as seen on the first page of your workbook. Write out what habits you have already established, what you feel like you currently want to work on, and areas you want to dive into in the future. Then continue this video. If you're looking to create your own success story, we know that while this is simple, it is far from easy. But first, we need to figure out what is holding you back from reaching your goals. For many, this is lack of consistency in and out of the gym. Inconsistency can originate from common barriers that many of us face. Many Americans live a very fast paced lifestyle that makes it feel nearly impossible to stay consistent with all the things that move us closer to meeting our goals. Let me share a client scenario with you. This client's journey started like most, unhappy with how she looked and felt. This led to getting a gym membership and going to the gym 4 to 5 days a week. After a few months, she stopped seeing any forward progress. In fact, she started to feel more tired and even weaker on most days. This led to feelings of frustration and even skipping workouts. Sarah noticed that she hadn't been coming and reached out to her. Sarah encouraged her to meet with her in person and talk more about it. This client wound up working with one of our nutrition coaches, and the rest is history. Fast forward to today, this client is encouraging in our group classes, and she is helping to change lives of others in our community through her testimonial. Her story is truly inspiring, and today we're going to dive in to what she worked on with her coach to find the success that she did. Just like our client scenario, we can probably relate to wanting to be more consistent in the gym and seeing progress. In order to do this, we need to address three things that are slowing our progress. Those three things are lack of sleep, lack of sufficient energy intake, and lack of consistency. Let's dive into these three barriers and how we will overcome them. First is lack of sleep. Did you know that it's recommended that adults get between 7 and 9 hours of sleep? If we're getting less than this multiple nights a week, we're not going to have enough energy to keep us going through our workouts, not to mention the lack of recovery and hormone disruption and the complications that creates. Let me give you an example. I've had clients tell me all the time, I only need 4 hours of sleep. How many of you swear you are functioning with only 4 hours of sleep? Well, you might not realize, but lack of sleep will have an effect on your ability to handle stress, food cravings, exercise, and recovery. When you don't sleep, your cortisol level is elevated. Leptin, which tells your brain that you're full, is decreased. And ghrelin, the hormone that makes you hungry, is increased. So you're more stressed, less satisfied, and more hungry. You may be wondering, but how does this directly affect my progress in the gym? That's a great question. If we're not consistently getting 7 to 9 hours of sleep per night, we will not recover as well. As you fall deeper asleep, blood flow begins to increase, which expedites the process of moving oxygen and nutrients throughout your body. This helps to repair and recover muscles and regenerate cells, which will allow your muscles to recover and get stronger over time. Additionally, sleep helps you prevent injury and maintain energy levels. It is said that deep sleep is linked to the release of growth hormones. It is important because growth hormones stimulate muscle growth and repair as well as burns fat. It is also known that by getting adequate sleep, we can reduce cortisol levels. Remember, those cortisol levels, or cortisol is a stress hormone that can affect metabolism, recovery, as well as inflammation. So, I think you might be seeing sleep could potentially be a barrier. What should you do? Well, let's discuss some things that you can do to help with the lack of sleep. Tip number one, set a sleep wake cycle. And as hard as this is, having a set schedule as part of your day gets your brain and body in the routine of sleeping for the amount of time your body needs. A couple of tips for setting your schedule include the hardest one, having a set wake up time, regardless of whether it's a weekday or a weekend. We should also make sleep a priority. While it might be tempting to skip sleep to work, study, socialize, or exercise, it's vital to treat sleep as a priority. Consider adjusting your sleep schedule gradually. If you want to shift your sleep times, make small step by step adjustments of up to an hour or two at a time. I've had some clients start with 5 to 10 minutes at a time. Lastly, stay mindful of naps. Try to keep naps relatively short and limited to the early afternoon if needed. Now, next tip is to optimize the bedroom. In order to fall asleep more quickly, you want your bedroom to feel calm and free of disruptions. This may look like having a comfortable mattress and pillow for maximum comfort, using bedding that matches your needs and preferences, making sure your room is clean and tidy, setting a cool yet comfortable temperature. My favorite, block out light by using heavy curtains or an eye mask. Draw out noise by using a white noise machine, earplugs, or even a fan. Or you could try calming scents such as lavender to promote relaxation. Lastly, fix your sleep routine hygiene. How you prepare for bed can determine how easily you will be able to fall asleep. Stay consistent with your routine by following the same steps each night, and that will reinforce your mind that it's bedtime. We recommend setting a 30-minute wind down routine. You can do things like enjoying the activities that bring you relaxation. This could be light reading with dim lights, drinking maybe some decaffeinated hot tea. My preference, lavender chamomile. Listening to soft music or enjoying some light stretching. You really want to avoid bright lights and blue lights because they can hinder the production of melatonin, a hormone that the body creates to facilitate sleep. I recommend setting a sleep timer on your phone where and all of your devices where they shut off 30 minutes prior to bedtime. During this time, you could utilize some of the methods that I listed for relaxation, such as the reading, stretching, or you can incorporate things like meditation, paced breathing, and even potentially some journaling. Here's number two. Another thing that's slowing your progress in the gym is not eating enough. Not eating enough throughout the day decreases energy levels as well as reduces recovery. If you're consistently eating fewer calories than needed, your body will start to break down muscle to use for fuel. Over time, not eating enough can mess with our metabolism and make it harder for us to lose weight as well. Back to what we said earlier about recovery and sleep. If nutrients move throughout our body for recovery during sleep, what happens when there is a lack of nutrients? Does our body fully recover? No, it does not. Further, if we're under eating, then we're more likely to not taking in enough protein for muscle protein synthesis. Protein is a building block of muscle. Protein is made up of amino acids that help grow, maintain, and repair different cell tissues in the body, like muscles. If we are not getting enough, our muscles will not grow stronger. This stops us from making any progress despite hard efforts in the gym. In addition to protein intake, cutting calories too low can reduce our carbohydrate intake, creating other complications within our body. First off, carbohydrates are our primary source of energy. If we cut them too low, we will not have enough energy to complete our workout. And did you know that our brain needs carbohydrates for energy to function and to get a good night's sleep? Carbohydrates spare our protein and muscle tissue, allowing us to see those gains in the gym. Just for clarification purposes, as I'm talking about carbohydrates, your brain may automatically be going to things like bread, pasta, candy, sugar, cereals, things like that. When I refer to carbohydrates and making sure that you're getting adequate carbohydrates, I'm referring to things like whole food based carbohydrates, such as oatmeal, brown rice, sweet potato, and things of that nature. So, how do we start fueling properly to reach our goals? The first solution is to plan your meals ahead. Doing this can help you from skipping meals or eating meals that do not support your goals in the gym. There are many different ways to prepare meals ahead of time that will make nutrition more convenient and less of a barrier when it comes to getting serious about your goals. For example, making overnight oats can help combat an early morning, or making a crock pot of the HSN pulled chicken to pair with rice and veggies for lunch and dinner can help make sure that you're set up for success. Normal meals and snacks should contain a balance of protein, carbohydrates, and fat. Fueling right around your workout is another very important aspect of planning ahead as well. We want to make sure we're prioritizing protein and carbohydrates after hard workouts. But sometimes people say that they don't want to eat before a workout because it makes them feel sick. Well, did you know that liquid sources of these are actually preferred because they're easily digestible? Something as simple as a protein shake that contains around 15 grams of protein and 30 to 45 grams of carbohydrates would be ideal. Whey powder is the fastest absorbing protein and the gold standard for recovery and rebuilding muscle. Here we go with number three. Another big barrier slowing your progress in the gym is lack of consistency. This is probably one of the most common barriers. A common barrier to consistency in the gym is motivation. First off, we need to set goals. Without goals, we will not be able to see progress or really know what we need to do in order to get there because we don't know where we're going. Setting goals will provide you with motivation to keep going even on the hardest days. Motivation is also known to follow the action. By this, I mean, once you start working out, you will have a greater drive to keep going. In other words, it is the success that breeds the motivation. Many times, our identified barriers are really excuses. With the help of goal setting and commitment, you will be able to overcome your barriers and excuses and find a way to make progress. Let's do this together. In your workbook, you will see an area to write down your SMART goals, which stand for specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time sensitive. While our goals can include both scale wins, such as weight gain or weight loss, and non scale victories, such as an actionable habit. This could be meal planning, meal prepping, consistency in the gym. Let's write down a long term goal that can be either, which we will break down into a short term actionable habit. I'll give you an example. If you want to lose 30 pounds, I know it will be a long term goal. One thing I know I need to work on is getting into the gym more consistently. If I'm consistently only going one time a week and it's inconsistent, maybe I write my goal as I will work up to going to the gym 3 times a week in 2 months. Then take a moment to write down why each of these goals feels important to you. It's the why that really cements the goal and makes it important for you. It also is the why that you revisit when you feel like you're losing steam towards being consistent and meeting that goal. So pause the video, get those goals written down, and then start it back. Additionally, this inconsistency can originate from a lack of support. A good way to combat this is to find a community. One study found 95% of those who start a fitness program with friends stuck to it, compared to only 76% for those who tackle the program alone. Another study confirmed that working out with a partner significantly increases the time spent exercising overall. This was a huge key to the success of the client scenario discussed earlier. This is why you will see her lighting up the gym with her smile as she attends our group classes. So find your tribe. Another common barrier is time. Unfortunately, I think we can all relate to the fact that there are only 24 hours in the day. Wouldn't it be nice to have more? Between the long task list and other things, it can be difficult to find a time to work out or to take action on some of the other nutrition related goals to help move you forward. Since this is a reality for many of us, making a realistic goal of going to the gym 3 times a week instead of six might actually keep you more motivated and on track. If we set unrealistic goals, we will not create habits that will lead to consistency, but instead, we could decrease our self confidence and efficacy. We won't trust ourselves to meet our goals because we set the bar too high. So, in addition to finding our tribe, we should also set realistic goals. So, what is it that you need to do to speed up the progress in the gym? If you need, pause the video and take a moment to reflect on all the things that we just went over. Well, let's get into at least one thing we know you could do. Focusing on one thing at a time and keep layering on. I know this sounds probably too simple and counterproductive or counterintuitive to all of the things that you're seeing on social media and potentially from the people in your inner circle. When talking about long term success, which is more than a year, let's talk about success rates and how much they change with each thing you add to your plate, literally and figuratively. If I were to ask you to walk around all day and do your normal day to day tasks, carrying and juggling one ball, your success rate would be 80% or higher. Remember, we're talking long term here for a year and more. But if I give you two balls to walk around and maintain your normal day to day tasks while also juggling both of these balls, your rate of success drops to 35% or less. Now let's throw in a third ball. You're walking around doing all of your day to day tasks and juggling three balls. The likelihood of you being successful with this decreases to 5%. Not to mention, you're more than likely to drop all three balls to focus on putting out today's fire or fires. So, where do you start? Find the thing that stands out to you that you're excited to work on, that you know the impact will have on you and the goals you're wanting to achieve. And that is simple. You don't want to make it too complicated because the more friction you add to your day by working on something that's too overwhelming, the more likely you are to drop it, just like those balls I asked you to juggle. Once you have nailed a habit, which means consistently doing it for at least 2 weeks, you can layer on by increasing the number of days or making it more challenging. And that's right. You don't have to start off by doing something every single day. You could start off by doing something a couple of times a week, nailing that, and then layering on extra days. But you do not want to add more until you are consistent, which means you may have to adjust your original action step or goal because consistency is key. It literally is the magic pill to success. Remember, when you have more more support and consistency, you are more likely to find success. Try to find an accountability buddy, a community, or someone to embark on this journey with you that won't hold you back or give up. If you don't have that person, we can help. All you have to do is book a discovery call, or if you're a current member, book a goal setting session. We'll map out a plan that works for you. So maybe you're curious of some things that you could start on to reach your goals. So let's review the principles that have helped so many people take control of their health one habit at a time. First one, add more whole foods into your diet. You can see the picture in the background. That's what we mean by whole foods. Start choosing whole food options and less processed foods packed with sodium, fat, and sugar. A simple way to start this is by reshaping your plate using the plate method. 1/4 lean protein, 1/4 non starchy vegetables, 1/4 starchy vegetables, and then 1/2 non starchy. So when we say non starchy, we mean those volume carbohydrates, things like Brussels sprouts, green beans, cauliflower, broccoli, bell peppers, things like that. When we say starchy carbs, which is 1/4 of the plate, we mean things like sweet potato, beans, rice, and even some squash. Number two, focus on balance. When we say balance, we mean every meal and snack throughout the day containing a carb, a protein, and a fat. Pairing each meal and snack with all three of these macronutrients will keep you fuller longer. And here's a big one. Limit the amount of added sugar you consume daily. The American Heart Association recommends no more than 6 teaspoons or 24 grams for women and 9 teaspoons or 36 grams for men of added sugar per day. The average person consumes over 150 pounds of sugar per year, which is 46 teaspoons per day. It's not surprising sugar is super addicting and feels hidden in almost every food product that you find in a package. So, we mentioned earlier about your efficacy being decreased. Well, let's talk a little bit more about what that is. It is the individual's belief in his or her capacity to execute behaviors necessary to produce specific performance from fulfillment. Did you know that just by being consistent with your sleeping, eating, and gym routine, you will increase your confidence and satisfaction in more areas of your life? It's true. Just remember these simple steps to take. Prioritize your sleep, fuel your body, and stay consistent. Remember to start slow and don't shoot for perfection. It's all about progress. And lastly, let us help you with support and accountability if you're finding that you need it. I hope that you enjoyed this recording. And if you have any questions, just reach out, send me an email, and I'm happy to help answer anything that you're wanting to get answered. And once again, if you're feeling like you need some additional accountability and support, just book a discovery call. We'll map out a plan that works for you. And we look forward to talking to you if that happens. Thanks for watching.